Welcome to class, everybody. Welcome, knitters. I'm so glad that you could join me, and this practice is really good to open up the muscles in your hands, and your forearms, and your shoulders, and hopefully it'll keep you knitting for longer. And so I'll try to keep it swift so you can get back to it, but hopefully it'll be a nice release for you. So come to a seated posture. If your hips are really tight, you can bring your hips up onto a pillow or some rolled up blankets, or if you have a yoga block, you can use that as well. Or you can just sit cross-legged on the ground, whatever feels best for you. And we're just going to bring our hands together here at the heart, finding some gratitude for yourself and something good that's happened to you recently. Take a couple deep breaths in, bringing yourself into your present moment, into the room. Trying to really expand your lungs. And then empty the breath all the way out at the bottom. Great. We're going to interlace the fingers here, and you're going to kind of just rotate through your wrists and find what feels good here. You can kind of stretch your wrists one way and then twist them over to the other side, just giving it a nice release in those wrists. And you can, and when your fingers are interlocked, you can roll circles. Any clicking sounds are totally normal. Great, and let's keep the fingers interlaced here. Push them outwards and find length through your back body. So feel like you're pushing a door away here, and you should feel a nice release in your shoulders. Breathe into it. You're doing great. Great, and shake that out a little bit. And you can give your wrist a couple rolls here. Sometimes that feels nice. And then we're going to scrunch the fingers up really tight and then release it. And really stretch out your fingers when you release. So scrunch and then release and stretch. Scrunch, release and stretch. This is a nice stretch for your palms. And really imagine your fingers going as far apart as possible. Almost imagine like each of your fingers are magnets repelling each other when you stretch, and then pull everything together. Stretch. Great. And then we're going to start with our right hand here, and you're going to grab hold of your thumb and pull it gently away from its socket. Just gently, and you can wiggle it clockwise and then counterclockwise. Moving on to the index finger, pulling it gently, and then wiggling it clockwise and counterclockwise. Moving on to the middle finger, pulling it gently, and then finding those circles. Moving on to the ring finger. And the pinky finger. Great, now shake that hand out. Let's move on to the left hand, starting with the thumb, pulling gently and rotating. Sometimes it feels nice on the thumbs to kind of pull that thumb back towards your body and really give that palm a good stretch. And then let's move on to the index finger. Make sure you're continuously breathing long, deep breaths in and out. And the middle finger, the ring finger, and lastly the pinky finger. Great, shake that out, whatever you need to do. And then we're going to make fists. And imagine you're pulling it away from the midline of your body. So fists and then twisting away from you. You should feel a nice stretch up through the forearm, especially if you're really tight. Great, bring your hands to prayer. And then you're going to actively press your hands together and then push down. So pushing your hands together and then down and up and down. And you can go as far as your flexibility allows. You should feel a nice stretch through your wrists. You want to keep this pose really active. Great. And then we're going to bring our left hand out to the side. And you're going to flex your hand and imagine you're pushing a wall away. Pushing a wall away from you. You should, if you're really tight, especially in your hands and your shoulders, you should already feel this down your arm. But really press away from you. And then we're going to tilt our head over to the right. And breathe here. This is a very intense stretch, so be mindful here. Keep actively pushing that imaginary wall away from you. And if you would like more of a stretch, you can bring the right hand on top of the head and gently, not really pushing, but more so adding a little extra gravity to your head. Great, we'll come back to center. Kind of shake that arm out however feels best. Sometimes it can get a little tingly. And we'll switch sides. So flex the left hand, or I mean the right hand, I'm sorry, and push that wall away from you. Really push. Imagine you're pushing it. And then tilt your head over to the left. And if you need more of a stretch, you can bring that hand up and gently add some pressure. And if you'd like, you can also draw circles with that hand, really tiny circles. Or you can move it front and back, finding whichever motion suits you best. Great, shake out that arm. And then lastly, until we come onto all fours, you're going to take your hands, let's start with the left hand, and you're going to press it out and grab the fingertips with your opposite hand and pull those fingers towards you. So a nice forearm and palm stretch, good for the wrists. And then point the fingertips towards the ground. Grab hold of those fingers once more and pull them towards you once more. Nice stretch for that wrist and top of the hand. Our hands are one of the most neglected areas of the body to stretch. And they get really tense, especially if you're using them a lot. Then you can kind of alternate between those two. Great, and then roll that wrist out to release that tension. And we'll activate through the right hand, pressing that wall away again. Grab those fingers with the opposite hand and pull your fingers towards you. Beautiful for those tendons in that hand. Keep breathing. Great. Now point those fingers towards the floor. Grab the fingers again. Pull them towards your body. One thing to know about yoga poses, they should never feel painful. Discomfort stretching feeling is normal, but anything searing or sharp or pain, always back out of the pose a little bit. Always honor your body and how it's feeling. You can alternate a little bit between those two. And then roll that wrist out. Great. We're going to come onto our hands and knees now. Mindfully make your way there. Alright, so with this, your palms are going to be underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your ankles. Draw your belly button up towards your spine here. Find some activation. And then once you've got a nice steady base, push the ground away and spread your fingertips wide. And we're just going to find some circles. Let's go clockwise first. Inhale and exhale at your own pace. Great. Reverse those circles. Great, and I'll face you for this next one. You're going to bring your palms in towards your body. So your forearms are facing the front of the room, and you're going to find those circles again. It's okay if the fingers don't come all the way towards your body, if they're kind of out like this because you're tight, that's totally fine. Yoga is not just for flexible people, it is for everybody. And we'll reverse the circles. And kind of rock back and forth here. Just giving those wrists a nice release. Great, and shake that out. That can be a very intense posture. And to counter it, we're going to flip our palms so that the back of your hand is on top of the floor. And no circles here, let's just give those hands a little bit of a break. Rock side, or you can rock front to back here if that feels nice. All right, Great. We're going to come back to our seated posture. Again, notice how you get there. Notice how you move your body. Are you throwing your body around into the posture and you're in a hurry, or is it mindful? Do you savor each movement of your body? Just a thought. And we'll gently bring the left hand across the body, catch that wrist, make sure to plug your shoulder back into its socket a little bit, and then stretch. Most people have the tendency to go like this and hyperextend that shoulder, but really engage, pulling that shoulder back into the socket and then stretching from there gives you more of a controlled, beneficial stretch. And don't forget to breathe. And we'll release that. Right hand come across, catch that wrist, plug that shoulder into the socket, and then find your stretch. Keep your fingers engaged here. And release. And take a couple neck circles. Be careful not to crunch the neck all the way back at the top. Just being mindful, it's more of a drawing circles with the nose. So draw your circles about the size of a dinner plate. And then when you're ready, reverse those circles. Anywhere that you find any catches in your neck, you can spend a little more time on them. Okay. And then bring your hands back to prayer. Find a deep breath in, and when we exhale, we're going to sigh it out. Sigh out anything that's not serving you, any negativity, anything that's bringing your energy down and bogging it up. So all together, inhale. Big, 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 fill your lungs, and then sigh it out. And then let your breath return to normal. Just noticing how you breathe. Is it full and deep, or is it shallow and in your chest? Take a few moments here to quiet the mind and just sit in stillness for a minute. Our lives are so focused around constantly moving, constantly doing something, being productive. If we can shift that and find some stillness every day, it's a nice balance. We'll be here a few more moments. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this class relaxing and beneficial for your hands and shoulders, and hopefully it will enhance your knitting. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And inhale, exhale, bring the hands up to the third eye. Again, thank you so much for being here. My name is Rissa, and namaste.